Hi everyone. So last week's video was pretty short with me only doing my background. This week's video I'm expecting is going to be quite a bit longer. So it's week 2 of my nutcracker block. So what I did is I went to Pinterest as I suggested last week. Now, funny thing, I watched Rachel's video after I made mine, and two things. We didn't even talk about this week, so I hadn't spoken to Rach for a week or two leading up to the nutcracker video. And firstly, as my son said, almost word for word, we both talked about going to Pinterest to find inspiration. And number two, what she did was exactly what I had in my head to do for mine in terms of the dimension, that kind of thing, and a similar style. Totally coincidental. We haven't copied each other. But I laughed when I watched her video because I feel like our minds were thinking the same thing. Anyway, this illustration I got from looking at some actual nutcrackers on Pinterest and also some different illustrations of nutcrackers. So I kind of just sketched out what I'm thinking, and then I coloured it with Copics just to see how I wanted the colour combinations. So I'm going to show you in a minute where I'm at. And then today my plan is to finish my nutcracker and show you how I do that. One thing I did like, I liked the cape. I saw that on an actual nutcracker that had a cape, and I did want to do the cape idea, but I realized that I'd be covering up too much of my background fabric, which I really liked, and also it would become too chunky with too many layers. Like on parts like here and here, there'd be up to 4 layers of felted wool, so it would have been too chunky. So I have taken out the cape. Okay, so that's my design, and this is where I'm at. Okay, so nothing is stitched down yet. The only thing stitched down is my background. So I've cut out all my little pieces. Now I did it with the freezer paper. So hang on, let me get a scrap of freezer paper. So freezer paper is shiny on one side and matte on the other. In Australia, I get this at Spotlight, but I'm pretty sure you can get it in quilting stores as well. Certainly can't buy this at the supermarket or anything like that. And all I did was I traced, I'll show you a bit. This was my hat. I traced my pieces from my illustration. I just traced my pieces onto the freezer paper like that. So that's my hat piece. And then what you do is I had it just traced out on the freezer paper, so if you can imagine it's like that. I hadn't actually cut it out yet. What I do is I just rough cut around it, not on the line, but just outside the line. And then with the shiny side down, let me just grab a piece of felted wool, the red one that I used. With the shiny side down, so this was the shiny side, that's the rough side. So you could always write on it so you know what's what. You basically just iron it down and it sticks. Then you cut on the line and you get a really clean cut. And then this peels off so easily. It doesn't stick very solidly at all. It's very easy to get off. So I actually did that with most of my pieces. A couple of them I freehand cut, like I think I did the small bits like the hands and the cuffs and the belt. Things like that I freehand cut. This is going to be his little stick with his ruby on top, but all the big bits, all the sections I cut out. You can see that they're cut in different sections, so they will be joined together once I stitch them down. So then what I wanted to do is add a little bit of embellishment around the edges. This is what I've played with so far, like a few trims. Rach gave me this fancy little thing, some little scraps of lace. Rach gave me a trim that has lots of crowns on it, so I'm using one of them because my nutcracker is a king. And I've laid down some hand-dyed cheesecloth, a bit of hand-dyed lace, just to give it a bit of interest in the background. Suffolk puff, I dyed this kind of lace and cut out the flower, etc. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stitch it down. I collect a lot of the old threads. Is it Silco? Is that how you pronounce it? Silco? And I went through my colours. Perfect for my cheeks. Perfect for his little vest. And I actually found that I had pretty much, all the colours that I need to stitch him down. So I'm going to be using my old threads. And I'm going to show you in a minute that it is going to be a simple overcast stitch. So I'm going to take all this off. As I said, it's not stuck down. I know where all my bits go because I laid it out and I took a photo so that I could remember. And what I have actually done is I've pinned down his boots and his little legs. So I'm going to start by showing you how I would stitch them down. And then I will turn the video off, stitch the rest of him down, and I'll come back and show you. And then there's got to be some embellishment and some embroidery. I must say I'm absolutely blown away by the ones that I've been seeing. Lots of comments that this prompt is overwhelming. Sorry about that. This is my prompt. I think Rach said that in her video, that it was my prompt, and she was possibly a little bit overwhelmed to think of her idea as well. But they've been amazing. What we've been seeing is fantastic. And Rach said when I was chatting to her the other night, she actually likes that it's overwhelming and it's challenging. It's not something easy. You have to think about it. So we've got one more prompt coming up later. Sorry, it's another one of mine where some people might feel a little bit intimidated, but it's not. You can do it as simple as you want. It doesn't have to be super hard. Okay, so I'm excited by that. These are this prompt and that other one I haven't mentioned. I won't say what it is yet because it'll be a surprise. They're the ones I'm most excited by. So I think you'll be okay. And in fact, some people have actually already alluded to or slightly done that prompt anyway. So if you've sort of come up with a cool idea, you might have to repeat it again, but do it in a different style. Or you could go for the winter prompt. Oh, hang on. But for that one, the prompt is going to be very similar anyway. You'll understand when we get to it. I'm being a bit cryptic. So anyway, just back to my nutcracker. I am sewing the nutcracker down using just an overcast stitch. I'm coming in about 2 to 3 mils from the edge. The brown is blending in really nicely. You can barely even see it. And I will go around the boots. And then what I do is I'll be layering up. And the other thing is on my diagram, I've got a little sort of bubble trim. I'll just show you. So there's some bubble trim here, along here, well, the cape's not going to be there, along the boots. I was going to do the boots in blue, but then I decided I had this really cool brown felt. I think, Mum, you might have given me that one, which I thought would be good for his boots. And this is the wrong colour. I think I have this trim in navy blue, this little bobble trim. So that's what I'm going to be looking for to give the bobbles. So I'll have to find that. I think I know where I've put that. Okay, so overcast stitch. And I'm doing it maybe about 4 mils apart, 4 millimeters. Little knot. So what else has been happening? Not much. I've actually been having some good days of rest. We had a bit of a busy weekend, but we're on holidays now, so it's been quite nice. Jamie and I spent probably more than half the day. We spent about 5 hours outside doing the gurney, the high pressure water cleaner on our path. So I've got a garden. I live in an apartment and I do have a garden. So I haven't finished. I've done most of my path. But we also have a back path where our clotheslines for our building are, and it has stairs that goes down to our laundry. And because we've had so much rain in Australia, we actually had a lot of moss build up and the path was super dirty. So Jamie and I got the gurney out, gave it a good clean because we don't want anyone to slip. And then we accidentally got locked out. Jamie's shaking his head because he did it. So luckily my phone was on the window ledge. The windows were open, but we can't get in because we've actually got bars on our windows. They're on the inside of our windows for security purposes because we're on the ground floor and it's quite dark out the back of our apartment. It's not a very public sort of space. So I like the bars because they make you feel safe. But I don't like the bars because they are somewhat of a fire hazard. If there was a fire, we'd have to get to the front door. Although I have got most of my bars are painted onto the window, and you wouldn't be able to get them off very easily, but one of them I've made sure that I could get off if I needed to. So I do plan on renovating my apartment. I've been planning that for how long, Rach? 3 years? Anyway, I'm not rushing to it at the moment because I'm assuming this is similar around the world. The cost of renovating and building and stuff has gone sky high at the moment, and also it's almost impossible to get someone to renovate your place very quickly. There's, big waits, a year, 18 months, that kind of thing. And also there's short supply of a lot of the different materials that you need for renovations. So with all those reasons, I'm not rushing into it at all. I have my ideas, and now that Rach has just done hers, it makes me want to do mine more. But I am just holding off, for a little while. And then next year my son starts his last year of school, so I don't know if I really want to renovate while he's got his final year exams and that kind of thing. But we'll work that out. So in terms of renovation, I am not doing a lot structurally, but I am going to do a full renovation in terms of my place probably hasn't been renovated probably since the 80s. We've got really gross, old, faded, ugly, peachy coloured carpet, which is just gross and threadbare in some places. We've got paint peeling off most ceilings, an old gross kitchen. The bathroom, it's old, but it's okay. It's pretty neat. It functions, which is good. In the kitchen, my oven doesn't work. It's never worked. We've lived here we're getting close to 16 years now. My oven's never worked. I have actually just an electric oven on a bench, which works really well. Really nice one. So I need a full kitchen renovation, full bathroom renovation, and then the whole apartment will be obviously painted, and we'll go carpet in the bedrooms. I like carpet in the bedrooms. And then floorboards throughout the rest of the apartment. I do have raw floorboards underneath my carpet. I don't know what condition they are in throughout the whole unit, but they're raw. They're not polished or sanded or anything. So they could be usable, but if not, I really love herringbone wooden floorboards, so I'd get them put on top or put in, whatever the builders do. And then we have literally no storage in this unit, so we're going to have so much storage put in. I'm going to have, built-in cupboards in bedrooms and living room. The kitchen's going to, I hate kitchens, and this is what I've got. I don't know about overseas where some of you might live, but here, a lot of the time they're putting kitchens and the cupboards don't go up to the ceiling. You've got this huge gap above the cupboards. And I understand that the cupboards would be too tall to get into without a ladder, but I'd prefer have a ladder in a cupboard and more storage space than stupid open spaces above the kitchens. It just looks silly. It collects dust and grease, and it's gross. So I'm going to have, we've got quite high ceilings in this apartment, so I'm going to have floor to ceiling cupboards everywhere. Bedrooms, kitchen. I'm going to have some really good storage in the living room. I've got big plans. So if you're in Australia, you might have heard of the Three Birds renovations. I've done their renovation course. They have an online course. So I have some good ideas about what to do. If you do like looking at renovating, they have a great YouTube channel. It's Three Birds Renovations, three Sydney girls that run this company, and I like a lot of aspects of their style. So I'm going to be a very mixed style. I love Hamptons, so I really want a Hamptons base, but I also love colour. So my whole apartment is going to be very, very vivid white, but there's going to be colour. Like I want wallpaper in my bedroom and my hallway. And in my hallway, when you first walk in, I've found this really amazing, really bright chinoiserie type wallpaper. And then in my bedroom, I'm undecided, but it's going to be some kind of mural, some kind of probably florally pretty mural. Yeah, so there will be lots of colour. I was thinking of tiling the back of my shower in pale pink kind of tiles, which my son said, yes, I could do that. So we'll see. We'll have something interesting in the bathroom. Anyway, one day when I get it done, I might show you some before and afters. And then the other thing is, because we do have a garden space, at the moment my apartment doesn't open onto it. And you have to walk out of our front door and then into our fire escape, out our back door where the clotheslines are, and then there's a gate to get into our garden space. So I need to open up my unit onto the garden space, and I'll be doing that. By, hopefully, the plan, if it works, is to put in some French doors from my living room which go out to my garden. So that will be the plan. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video now. I think you can see how I'm going to stitch on all my pieces. I will keep working on stitching all my nutcracker pieces down, and I will pop the video back on as soon as they are in place. All right, I'll see you soon. Okay, so I've been gone for quite a while. Actually, the first part of the video was the morning, and now it's actually late at night. So this is my progress that I'm up to. I stitched down all my pieces of felted wool. I have stitched on some little embellishments around the side. This is going to be like a stick, I don't know what you call them, that he holds, and I'm going to put this couch down this twine here, and I'm going to do some stitching with some metallics because they're meant to be jewels, so on the red one, so it's a ruby. I have sketched on his face with my friction pen, and I'm just going to stitch that down now. So I've got 3 strands of black DMC, and I'm going to start by doing the face embellishments. So what I think I'll do for the eyebrows, I want them quite chunky. So I'm going to do a back stitch. And by the way, my face is not very well centered. You can see I came a little bit too far over to the side, but it doesn't matter. It's all about embracing the wonkiness, right? Okay. So just back stitching, and then what I thought I might do, because that's quite thin, I could do a satin stitch over it, or what I just thought I'd do just to thicken it up a little bit is I'm just going to whip it. So bringing my needle up and going through each stitch. Show you, so find my next stitch. Sorry, a bit wonky when I'm lifting it high. So under my, I'll get there eventually, under my stitch, and you just pull it through. Could even, to thicken it up further, I could try a double one. I'm just going to go over and stick my needle through. I think that's okay. My eye is just going to be a French knot. I want it to have a little bit of chunkiness. Actually, no, I wasn't going to do a French knot. I'm going to do some satin stitches actually. I wanted it to be a bit bigger than a French knot. So I'm just doing some satin stitches until I get the eye as big as I'd like it. See, that's quite a bit more chunky than if I was just to do a French knot. Okay, and then I'm just going to show you the moustache. I was going to use the same technique of doing a back stitch and then whip it to add some thickness to it. Now I'm just showing you a few of these things. I'll come back and do the other side off camera. The teeth will be exactly the same thing, just back stitch. And of course, I've unthreaded my needle. I'm actually using a milliner's needle, so if I was doing any French knots, they'd be nice and easy to do. And again, with the friction pen, I'll heat this with iron. I'll just iron the back and the pen should fade away. Give him a little curl, a twist on the end of his moustache, his fancy moustache. He looks a bit French. I actually don't mind the thickness of that, but I will whip it. Okay, so just going through each stitch, it will just increase the thickness a little bit further. Also, if you've got any little gaps, like I don't know if you can see my little gap there, the whip, oops, by pulling the thread through is going to cover that gap so you can't see that there was a gap there. Doesn't matter which way you whip, which end you go from, or whether you go bottom to top or top to bottom. As long as you keep going the same direction the whole time, like I'm going bottom to top, you can go the other way around. Okay, so I'll just do the teeth now. With the little nose, I did cut a little piece of felted wool, same color as the head and the hands. I don't think I had that cut out before. So just straight stitches to stitch the shape of the teeth. And then once I finish the mouth, I'm going to do a little bit of gold. I think I'll do some gold French knots just here, so they're like buttons. And then I'm going to do some little gold sort of things on his boots as well, some embellishments. I'm going to stitch some lines on this so it looks like a ruby. Couch down my pole. And I might decide I want to do a little bit of embroidery, a little bit more embellishment. I might play around a bit further. I think I'll finish my nutcracker, show you what he looks like, and then if I do any more embellishing, I can always, if I do that sort of tomorrow or the next day, whatever, I might show you that next week if I've done anything extra. Can I just say, I love the embellishing some people are doing. Like Pam, your nutcracker was unbelievable. You did so much lovely embroidery on him. Lots of gold. And Susanna, I loved your nutcracker. In fact, I've been loving so many of them. And so many people said, you know, they were intimidating, but you've done amazing work. Made me want to jazz mine up a bit further. I thought mine was a bit simple to begin with. So we'll see how we go. We never know. I might add more to my nutcracker. I think I am liking this page. I think it's one of my favorites so far. I was going to put a couple of gold buttons on his jacket, so just a few embellishments to come. So I'll just finish off his face, and then I'll do a little bit more embellishing off camera. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll pop up another little bit of video at the end to show you where I'm up to, and then I might work on him a bit more tomorrow. Okay, I don't think you need to watch me stitch the other side. You've seen me do this side. So I'll come back in a sec and I'll show you him almost done. All right, so my face is all stitched down. Now what I'm doing is I've got these little gold sequins and some DMC gold thread, this one here. And what I'm doing is I'm stitching the sequins down the middle, so they're like gold buttons down his shirt. Okay, so, oops, try again. Okay, so just drop the sequin down, pull the thread through, and to hold it in place, I'm just doing 3 stitches. You could also do a French knot if you wanted to in the middle to hold it down, but you'd have to make sure it's chunky so it doesn't pull through. Or you could even put a bead there as well. I just didn't want the bead sticking up, so I've decided to just do 3 stitches on each one. So I'm going to have 3 sequins above the belt buckle, and then I thought I'd do 3 below. So get my next little sequin. Okay, and I'll do 3 more below his buckle. Gives him a nice little bit of bling there. Okay, I'll just get the last one done and then I'll show you the little embellishments on his boots. And I'll show you the little stitching I'm going to do up on the ruby. And then that will be it for tonight. And as I said, I probably will do a little bit more embellishing, but I'll have to show you that in my next video because I probably won't do it until maybe tomorrow. Next week is our new prompt, and is that, I'm just trying to think, I think it's still, yeah, it's still Rachel prompting, so she'll do the videos first, and then the 2 prompts after that will be, no, I'm just trying to think, what's the date today? No, it's the 28th. Next week will be me. I will be doing the new prompt. I forgot we are up to October by next Wednesday. So that will be me. Okay, take that back. So the next 2 prompts will be mine. October's. Well, so you'll need to watch my video first to get the prompt. Okay. So little sequins are in. I might do a little bit of maybe some, because I got the bobble trim, that's what I wanted to add. Oh, I forgot to put this on. Where was I going to put this thing? I can't remember. I might put it there. I'll put that on later. So the pink one was what I showed you I was thinking of using, but not pink, blue. And I thought I had blue in exactly the same, but my blue's a bit bigger. So the small bobble trim might have worked on the boots. I think it possibly is even too big, but this one is, I was going to put some on the boots. Oh, I could still do that. I could fit 3. That would be cute. And I was going to do some around here, but they're too big for there, so I might do some beading there. Sorry, I'm a bit off screen. Beading there. And then I actually might use some of this and just do 3 little bobbles there and there, just to embellish his boots. You can't really see, but I do have a little layer there. It's meant to look like the toe of his shoe, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to show you my little laces on my boots, and then I will turn off the video, and because I need to get this up. It's, what's the time? Must be, it's almost midnight in Australia, so I do need to get this up. I am on holiday, so it's okay. Although I can't sleep in tomorrow. Jamie's got to do some water polo training in the morning, and then he's got I think it's 2 or 2.5 hours of, so 2 hours of water polo in the morning, and then followed by, I think it's 2.5 hours of band practice tomorrow for the nationals on the weekend. So at school tomorrow, so I think that's a good chance for me to have time at school while he's doing all his things in the morning, and I will get some marking done. I have a Year 11 exam to mark, and then on Friday he has some more band practice, so good chance for me to get my marking done. That's a good sort of 7 hours that I can be at work and get that done. Okay, so I'm doing 2 French knots and then a long stitch in between. I might do these French knots. Not quite sitting where I want it to, so I'm just going to come up and do a little stitch to place that a bit better. Okay, that's better. I might do two strands across so we can see it better. Okay, can you see that? That's meant to be a little lace. I'm going to do 3 on each boot. I'm wrapping 1, just put you on screen, 1, 2, 3, 4 times with this metallic thread, and then I place it down through the felted wool just next to where I originally came up. Okay, and then I'm going to come over and do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4 times because I want a chunky French knot, and I am using a milliner's needle, so nice and straight, which means it's easy to get through the French knot. Sorry, put you back on screen again, and just doing 2 stitches across the middle to make the lace stand out. Okay, one last lace on this side. One, 2, 3, 4 times. Now that I've done that, I've gone too high. I think I'm going to leave that off because I've gone too high with my lace and I don't think it'll look good. Get my 2 little French knots done. And 2 stitches across the middle. Okay, I won't show you the other boot. I'll do that off camera, but I'll show it to you at the end. Oh, and also I did want to add, here it is. Oh, I did want to add, actually, I'm going to add, let me look at my sequins. Do I have a red one? Not in this container. Let me have a look in my other one. I want to add a little red sequin, so it's like a little bit of bling. Yep, I have one in here. Come on, stick down. Well, that one's, try again. That one had a bit of funny mark on it. Sorry, just let me tip some out so I can get some red. Okay. There's a red one. Now, do I want 1 or 3? Okay. I am feeling that I'd like 1. All right. Deal with those sequins after. Sorry, I'm just putting my sequins out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 there. Okay, now I need to see if I've got a good red metallic. Let's see what I've got. So these are all my metallic threads. No red in there. I've got a lot of silver and gold. I'm going to use this one. I've got this red metallic here. Okay, this one's quite a thin one, so I think what I'll do is I'll double it up. This looks like a milliner's needle again. Ooh. It's very curly, this thread. There's a few kinks in it, hang on. Very, very curly. Just getting the 2 ends. this stuff can become tangled and unraveled quite easily. Okay. So what I was thinking was okay, I'm just trying to get it where I want it. Let me see if this is going to stand out or blend in too much. Oh gosh, there we go. No, I think you'll be able to see it. Oh gosh. It's a bit tricky to work with. Okay, so I'm just doing 3 sort of, I guess they're like back stitches, but 3 stitches across. Then I'm going to come from this point here down to the middle. So I'm trying to make it like it's a cut ruby shape, so making triangles. Okay, can you see that? And then down the bottom, I'm just going to kind of divide it into thirds. So one straight one like that. Oh gosh, what's going on? Ew, what a nightmare. Looks good, but not the easiest thread in the world to use. Okay, so that's, whoops, that's what I was planning. Okay, so it's meant to look like it's a cut ruby. See, I got a big loop there. That was my beginning. It should be okay once I stitch it down. Oh, there you go, I've hooked it anyway. Keep it, I might hook over it again just to secure it. I don't even know what happened there, but anyway. No one's going to see that on the back. Okay, ruby done, and I want to try and use this thread one more time for my red sequined at the top. Sequin. And then I am done for tonight. Just trying to find the middle of the sequin. There it is. Okay. One stitch. I'm doing the same technique as the little gold sequins, 3 stitches. 2 stitches and 3 stitches. And we're in place. And less tangled, so that's a good thing. Okay, so that's enough on video. I will do the last stitches on here and I'll pop a photo up at the end so you can see that done. Okay, thanks for watching this week and I'll see you again next week. Bye.